Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to my technical analysis video where I will be covering a few different things within the cryptocurrency space. Just before I begin, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only here to purely share and show you my insight from the charts, from a technical standpoint, and what I think is likely to play out. So, starting off today's video, I'm going to be showing you the total cryptocurrency market cap. I personally believe this is a very good indication in terms of understanding which direction the market's moving and what's generally going to happen. So for those of you who don't really understand, the total crypto market cap basically is how much the whole cryptocurrency space is worth. So typically speaking, if the total cryptocurrency market cap's losing value like we saw in this period, that is basically when Bitcoin kind of went back down and had its big crash from its previous all-time high around the, I think it was $65,000 level, which came back down to around the $30,000 level. That was how much money flow kind of left the cryptocurrency space. And then during this upwards period of upward momentum, we've had a lot of increase in the value of the total cryptocurrency market cap. So that's why I think this is quite important to always just keep an eye on and understand. Looking at things from the bigger picture, we have here, and something that I've been following for a while, is quite a large cup and handle pattern, which you can see over here. Just get rid of that for you. So this is a large cup and handle pattern with this sort of downwards consolidation period, which is a bullish pattern. You basically have this sort of rounded consolidation period followed by a downwards consolidation period, and the way you would measure a target would be to go to the bottom and then to the top, and then you just sort of take that from the point of the breakout, and that gives us a technical target of just over $3.5 trillion, which we are kind of making our way towards nicely. As you can see, after we broke out of this, some people might call it a bull flag as well, you could say. Over here, we've got the pole flag breakout, which brings us just over $3 trillion. Again, it's another potential area to keep an eye on. But overall, as we broke out of this sort of period, we've kind of been moving upwards in a very nice way. I'm now going to go into the 4-hourly chart just to sort of get a bit of a closer understanding as to what exactly has gone on. So after we broke out of this downwards sloping consolidation period of the cup and handle pattern, we broke through. I've put in a box here, which I believe is a strong level of support and resistance, and we broke through it right there. And after we broke through, we can see we flipped that resistance into support over there and over there. So it's quite a strong sort of support area. And what I noticed as well from this period was we also formed this lovely little inverse head and shoulders pattern, which actually broke out to the upside quite nicely, and we'll measure the target move in this instance straight out of the breakout point, which gave us a target area of 2.9 trillion, which, as you can see, after we broke out, we met the target very nicely. That was a simple move to track. Following the breakout, we again entered into this downward sloping consolidation, flipped this previous resistance as support, and this was a very nice indication as well, lining up with inverse head and shoulders, plus lining up with the cup and handle pattern. This showed me a clear signal as to us moving closer towards the target area. Now, as we got closer towards the target area, we run into a bit of a downwards period, which doesn't concern me whatsoever. If anything, this is actually bullish. It's completely normal. Things don't just go up in straight lines forever. So it was going to be a situation we are going to have a bit of a breather, let the space sort of cool off and come back down. So we actually hit the target of this inverse head and shoulder pattern. And at this point, I was sort of watching to sort of see what happens. We actually were forming this little potential bull flag scenario again, which I was watching to break out. It did break out, but this resulted in a big pullback, and it's something we like to call kind of like a fake out pattern. And then after that, we kind of came back down. So what are these boxes here? Well, I'll show you. This was an area where we bounced off. I had a little twice actually over here and over there. And therefore, I was watching this area as the first point of support. We actually just broke straight through it on a big pullback. But as we came back up, we then retested this as resistance. So that shows me that that's quite a strong resistance level. We came back down. We also blasted straight through this previous resistance flipped support level as well. And then actually have been rejected off that area. So this is now a key resistance point. So what exactly is happening? We did eventually find support along this bigger support box, which was drawn out of the cup and handle pattern. So just to get an idea of where we are at the moment and looking at the charts on a grand scale, what I'm seeing and understanding which way the cryptocurrency market's going based on the total market capitalization is as follows. We have a very nice upward sloping trend line. Now, this trend line has given us support over here. It's given us support over here. So for me, this is, a longer term trend line, which I think, in my opinion, is quite important. And as you can see here, this area, which was strong resistance, flipped into support here, again, is supporting us here. So this, in my opinion, is actually something which is very, very bullish. I don't see this as a bad thing whatsoever. The only scenario that would make this negative would be if we break cleanly below this trend line. Now, this trend line, if that's broken, we have broken the uptrend. At the moment, we're moving in this pattern. And if we do that, that's absolutely fine. You're never going to have a scenario where you constantly go up in straight lines. That's not the way things go. Things tend to have a breather. As you can see from this point over here, we kind of came back down, consolidated a little bit, and then carried on going higher. That's absolutely fine. And as you can see here, we're kind of doing the same thing. This doesn't concern me whatsoever. Only thing I'm watching is to see whether we get a break of this area, have a daily close below this area, back test at support. That would be a trend reversal, and that would indicate that other areas of the cryptocurrency market would be taking a longer and deeper correction. But so far, so good. We're having a very healthy retest of the upward sloping support line, and should we bounce from this area here and sort of consolidate a little bit more over here, maybe forming this little upwards sloping bull pennant formation, it would be very bullish in my opinion, and I would expect us to sort of get up to this target level here over the 3.5 trillion area, which in my eyes is very, very, very bullish. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for the total market capitalization. It's positive, which is always nice. I'm now going to move into Bitcoin and just sort of see what is going on with Bitcoin. So let's start on the daily time frame for Bitcoin and just sort of see what exactly is going on. Now, this chart may seem a little bit confusing for you. It's all my lines of where I'm looking for support and resistance. But overall, this is the cryptocurrency. This is the Bitcoin chart. And as we can see, this is where we're at the moment, just over $58,000. So let's have a look at my support and resistance lines. So I'd like to keep things exceptionally simple when trading or when looking to invest in cryptocurrency. And the truth of the matter is, the simpler you keep things, the more likely, scenario will play out for you to be profitable. It's just, keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate things for yourself. It's not necessarily worth it. So down here, obviously, big support. But I'm not going to bore you all with past content. I'm going to dive into live action and what is going on right here, right now. So we're moving up quite nicely, and I like to trust in my lines very well. As you can see, this area here offering strong support, coming up, a little bit of a resistance on these lines. The orange lines are areas I'm watching for, in between the boxes. The box areas are the key areas for support and resistance, areas that I believe it's worth buying off and selling off. So, for example, if you bought off this level here and took some profits off this level here, you'd have done very nicely. In our instant, we actually came up above this, but we ended up back testing this again, would be a buy signal. So for me, how I would play this, situation would be load up on a nice swing trade over here, play the markets upwards, take my profits over here. We broke through, we back tested it as support, enter into a new trade, take my profits here. Again, we did the same thing. We back tested this. I would load up on a new trade. Now, this didn't quite get as high as some of us are expecting. And the truth of the matter is, just get rid of all this lines. we did move up quite parabolically for a while, and therefore, as the longer we're going upwards in a parabolic move, the higher the chances of having some sort of pullback along the way. But nonetheless, after we break out of here, you set a nice stop loss, maybe somewhere in profit, potentially at this orange line here. And that way, that kind of will still close in profit, and you don't ride up to the next box, which we actually haven't plotted just yet, just because we haven't got to those levels just yet. But I'll explain to you in a moment what this red line means. And then as you see, we came back down here again to this box. And again, buying off this box proved very, very profitable. It moved up again from there, almost 20%. So these support and resistance boxes are key in my trading strategies. And I have a lot of faith in them. So let's have a look now as to what's going on. So Bitcoin, again, bounced off this level. Personally, I thought this was a good pullback, and I thought we were actually going to move higher here. This sort of red line here indicates the all-time high area, which this all-time high, and breaking through that, I thought, well, actually, we don't typically want to see us kind of come up, break the all-time high, come back down, consolidate, just about break the all-time high, come back down. You want to see us, when we break the all-time high, break it with conviction and really blast through, and hence these levels here. These levels are Fibonacci levels of targets out of trades. Truth is, off this, I thought we're holding up here, had a quite nice bullish support, and I thought generally we would go up and hit these levels. Nonetheless, in my current trade, stop loss in profit, and we anticipated this pullback over here. Now, what we can see now is I'd personally never shorted any of these markets. I'm not in it to short. I think trend is always your friend. We're in a clear upwards trend right now. We're in a bull market, and therefore I'm looking for opportunities to long. I'm not looking for opportunities to short. So what I can see is, coming back down, where were we going to find support? I knew this area here is going to offer some support, if anything, quite good support. And buying off this level necessarily isn't a bad thing. Personally, I actually started my swing trade position, building a bigger position from this level. So I actually started entering position roundabout in this box, in this vicinity, anticipating potentially getting held up by it. We actually broke through, and I've got order buys lined up here, actually just there, because I don't think we're actually going to fall further than that point, should we go down further from here. So we forming this sort of downward sloping channel, which if we break it is quite bullish. And this is on the daily chart. But as you can see, this area, which is previous resistance, flip support, is now going to be strong resistance. So all in all, for us to break this trend and really break out of this downward sloping consolidation box, we need to get through this level. To get through this level, flip it back into support, and ride into the sunset with our Lamborghinis. That is basically what we kind of have to see. So let's just go into this on the 4 hourly and just get a bit of a closer understanding as to what's going on. As you can see, here we are. And this is very, very clear. Bouncing, ranging, very nice. We did find a level of support over here, which we got held up there, and we're just generally not really breaking below that. Now, possible scenarios here is a little double bottom, which is quite bullish in my opinion, should we come out of it. We found one, we found two. If we don't break below that area, the bottom might very well be in for Bitcoin. I am actually anticipating the bottom to be in personally. Everyone's been calling for 53K, 52K, 50K, whatever it is. These targets never usually get hit. I mean, Bitcoin never goes as low as people anticipate it to. It never quite goes as high as people anticipate it to either. So it's just the way it goes. And it's something to pay attention to. Personally, that's the reason why I started accumulating my position already at this level, just because if we come down lower, great, I've got more buy orders and I'll get an average entry around this area. And I personally do believe we'll break all-time highs and get close to that 100K mark. And this will be a fantastic swing trade. Now, does it really bother me whether my swing trade position starts at 58K or I open the position at bang on 54K, the local bottom? Not really. It's not really going to make a massive difference in things. I'm not a short-term trader. I'm a long-term swing trader. When I say long-term, I don't mean, I'd say mid-term swing trader. My positions can be open for a few weeks at times, possibly a couple of months sometimes. And I like to sort of swing the markets. And personally, I see this as a fantastic opportunity for people to get in. We're still in this vicinity. So I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just purely showing you the charts and what I'm seeing. Also, as well as this downward sloping channel, I can see us forming this little pennant formation where you can see here, resistance, resistance. And we've got a little bit of support coming in here. You could say it's like that, however you want to draw it. But bottom line is, if we break this line here, I think we come back down to retest this 55-ish level area. If we break below that, I think there's a very good chance we get into this box and we actually do hit those targets of the 52 to 53k range, at which point I will be loading up heavily on my position. But if we break through this, things are looking good. If we break through this, we might have a little bit of volatility in this period. It might not be a clean push through because there is quite a lot of volume in this range. It's a strong resistance area. The box is there for a reason. But should we get out of it and consolidate a little bit above it, I think there's a very good chance we get up to this level here, this box here, which is also very strong. Resistance, as we can see here, support, that is going to be the next level to sort of watch. Now, not only that, should we assume this is a double bottom? The way you measure a double bottom move is to sort of take the neckline, which I'd say is over there, all the way to the bottom, and do that, which gives us above this box here. But bearing in mind, this is going to be strong sort of area of resistance. So if you want to play the markets on a short term, this could be a possible play. Bitcoin's looking quite bullish in my opinion at the moment. I'm not telling you what to do, but that's just what I'm seeing. So we could get rejected off here and come straight back down. Let's see. Early time with all. So that's what I'm seeing here for the Bitcoin chart. I'm going to just show you another chart, which is a little bit different. This will just sort of outline what's going on here. Yeah, that should be like that. I'm not quite sure why that wasn't. But all in all, looking at this, we can see things. This is just more of my overall view of things generally. And this was obviously the last big period. We came down for the consolidation. Yeah, this trend line offered a support over there. Resistance, resistance, and support. We broke through it. Not a big deal. Not a problem. It's just something to pay attention to. It's nothing to be trading off. And then going in closer, we've formed these falling wedges twice, and they both resulted in being very, very nice moves. And I just sort of put these lines here just to see whether this kind of plays out, whether we do form this bigger falling pennant, and if we do, it kind of brings us down to the 52 to 53k range. So if that happens, it's something that I'm anticipating. Now in trading, I think it's always important to kind of anticipate what can happen and set a plan as to what you're going to do should that play out. Should it not play out, you'll also have a plan in place. But the idea is to generally try and anticipate what's going to happen, have a plan should X play out or should Y play out. That's generally the case. I just wanted to show you that. Going into Ethereum, what we can see here on Ethereum, let's just start with the daily. Again, very simple. Got my support and resistance boxes, which I like to use. And these are generally very, very accurate. If we go in, we can see here, big range of support, resistance, tried to get support, broke through it, found the support there, flipped that resistance into support very nicely, and we've kind of been in this upwards trend here for a while. We're in this range just going upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards. Now, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. We're always going to have a pullback. This is what happened. Surprise, surprise. Where did we find support? We found support at our first box over here, which would have been a fantastic opportunity to long the market, in my opinion. From this point, when we found it, we instantly went up in a matter of 3 days, 3-day trade, 12%. That's fantastic. Oh, if you want to swing trade the market, even better. You buy off this level over here. Should we break through that, this would be a very strong level. Actually, that should be a box, to be honest. The reason why that's a strong level, I'll explain to you in a moment. But you set your orders along this level. Ethereum, I think, is very, very bullish. I do personally believe we will be getting to higher targets. We're definitely breaking the all-time high and blasting through the 5k level. And therefore, that's a fantastic opportunity to long the market. Not only that, I am seeing this sort of in the 4-hourly chart. We'll actually go into that. Before I do that, I just want to explain to you why this line here is actually a very strong support. Well, basically, I was anticipating this head and shoulders a while ago, which actually played out very nicely. The measured move from this head and shoulders was all the way up here, and as you can see, we hit the target very nicely, very easily, simple trade, Don't overcomplicate things. Keep things very, very simple. It's the way to go forward. So that's why I think, should we come back down? That's the neckline. I think we'll get supported there. This will obviously be a strong point to get back above. But this is all if markets turn incredibly bullish. And as you can see right now, we're breaking out. I don't think the markets are looking bearish. I think, whilst a lot of people say Bitcoin's a leading indicator to understand which way the market's going, I agree with to a certain degree. I also think Ethereum is now turning into something that is a catalyst for this market and is worth paying attention to. So as you can see here in the 4-hourly, we had this line supported, broke above it. Now we're getting this boom, boom, boom. Very simple pennant formation, which we're breaking out of. Not only that, we have this resistance line. As you can see, we got rejected there. So yeah, supported over there, rejected over there, breaking it. Bullish, in my opinion. What have we got above? Not very much. Clear skies, to be quite honest with you, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I think this is going to rely on what happens with Bitcoin, but should this break out, which it is doing very nicely, I think we might see a pop here. And the measured move out of this is going to be back up to the 4,008K area, which I think, looking at this, is going to get us to this point. Now, we're going to come around here. We're going to be running into what I think is going to actually be resistance. And at this point here, it's key to understand what happens. Should we get back into this channel? Sky's the limit. We're looking good. Not, we could come back down for a retest. That's what I'm anticipating to happen, unless things take a big dive, on total cryptocurrency market cap or on Bitcoin charts. Generally speaking, Ethereum's looking very bullish, in my opinion. And I think, that's generally how to play the markets. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm going to also analyze ADA today, just because it's something that I've been paying attention to, and I see massive opportunity in ADA. I've seen this recently. I know there's a lot of FUD out there right now. There's a lot of negative news around ADA, but personally, I think it makes me more bullish. It makes me more bullish when people are saying it's dead, it's a ghost coin, nothing's happening. If anything, there's a lot happening. That it's run by somebody called Charles Hoskinson, who's got a lot of information, a lot of knowledge around cryptocurrency. He's a good guy, he's got a good team, and I think a lot will be developed on the ADA network. I won't quite rule it out just yet. I think it'd be foolish to do that. And if anything, I'm seeing fantastic trading opportunities on the ADA charts. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into it and show you things. Now, again, let's start out in the daily and see what is actually happening here on a daily chart. Let's just have a little look as to what is going on. Here's daily. This is the ADA chart, and I'm essentially looking at, on this chart, I'm looking at two things. The first thing is going to be this upwards sloping support line, downward sloping resistance line. Support, resistance, resistance. As you can see, we're doing that. We're getting close towards the apex here. The apex means a breakout, essentially. We're getting closer to that range. Targeted move, should we actually break to the upside for any of these points? Somewhere around the $4 mark. I personally think ADA can go a lot higher than that. And this is why this is a very good risk to reward ratio, time to sort of be getting into ADA. We've been going through this downward consolidation period for 84 days. It's a long time. It's a long time to be consolidating. We saw this last time. We had the hard fork and upgrade, and we consolidated for a while. It resulted in a big move. We're also seeing this downward sloping falling wedge, which is something that I'm paying attention to as well. So as you can see over here, it was resistance. As you can see over here, it was resistance. We broke through it cleanly. Found resistance at the top of the wedge. Come back down. Supported. Here we had a little fake out. And I don't believe this was actually a fake out. I think this was getting ready to really, really run. And a lot of people kind of went into trades here. There was a lot of liquidity flying through ADA. And at this point, there was actually a lot of good news surrounding ADA. What happened was, and the reason why we saw this pullback was because essentially Bitcoin dumped. And Bitcoin is a leading catalyst in this market. So is Ethereum. So is total cryptocurrency market capitalization. After that, it kind of bled quite badly, fell back into this range, and you get the FUD and whatever comes out with it. And just, at that point, we fall off a cliff. So that's basically what happened. But if anything, it offers a better opportunity. It offers a good opportunity for you to go in. Now, for me, what I'm seeing, and I'll make it dead simple for you. This red line is key to hold. If you break below this red line, and I'm not talking about a fake out, a push below it, and a push back in on the same day, because we see that all the time. I'm talking about a clean daily close, going back up, retest it as now resistance. It changes the trend. We're looking like a downtrend. It changes the trend. But until then, we're moving in this lovely, lovely sort of pattern, which is absolutely fine for me. And I see this as a good, risk reward ratio trade. If we go into some of the other charts, this is my support resistance boxes on ADA. Yeah, there's strong support over here. We bounced off it very cleanly. This is going to be a tricky area to get through. Ultimately, this is the key area to get through. If we get back above here and kind of consolidate and get back above there, breaking this area for me is going to be a clear confirmation of us moving to higher highs. But again, we can see here's the same thing. Again, on this chart, we kind of move in these patterns. Falling wedge resulted in a big boom. Falling wedge resulted in a big boom. Going into the 4 hourly as well on ADA, I'm seeing a secondary falling wedge, which is also very clear to see. We break that line, I'll be looking at this area for target. And again, the reason why I said before that this white line area is going to be the key area to break is just simply because of this. It's the top of the wedge. So if we get to the top of the wedge, it's something that I'm anticipating, something that I'm looking at. Again, we'll have to break through this area, which overall breaks through the bigger picture as well. So for me, I think ADA's looking incredibly bullish in my opinion. And I just want to show you a little setup that I actually currently have. These white lines are all fib levels, which I'm watching. But again, this red trend line, which we talked about on the other chart, clearly shows support, and now finding support there. And should we actually find support like we did here last time? Well, you don't need me to tell you, look what happened. So it's downward period, followed by the upward period, followed by the upward period. I'm personally anticipating ADA to get up to the $7 range. Now, I'm not telling you what to do as a trade. You can clearly see this is actually my trade, but I actually opened around these levels. I opened them a bit prematurely, maybe. I personally thought we were going to get supported along this level. Hence the reason why I opened the trade coming back down. We didn't. We came back lower. It doesn't concern me. My stop loss is set down here, and I've been buying, adding to my trade at this level here because I think there's going to be it's a strong level to be accumulating. I'd be slightly concerned if you break this level on a daily and close below it. I know this kind of forms part of the falling wedge, potentially. It all depends how you kind of plot your lines. You could say that. I think that's probably better, and it kind of lines up with there. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. But personally, I think the risk-reward ratio here is huge. Huge. After we broke out of this, we went on a rally. What did we do? 200%. 200%, guys. If we break from this point here and go on a 200% pump, we're talking about over a $4 ADA. Am I going to take profits all the way up here? No. I scale out profits. It's an area which I'm watching. But this is a good risk-to-reward ratio trade. It's healthy. It's healthy. It's good. So yeah, that's me, guys. That's basically what I'm watching out for and looking at. If you did like this content and did like this video, please do slap a like on my page and subscribe to my channel. I want to start getting out some more information and more content out for you there. I might break things down a little bit and just sort of keep things shorter and simpler, possibly. I'm fairly new at this, so I'm just kind of feeling out the market right now and seeing what people respond to best. If there's any recommendations you can give me, please do leave a comment down below. And yeah, get in touch with me if you want to, talk about the cryptocurrency markets. Peace out. My name's Solzy. Do enjoy.